And actually, if you look at the Americas region, North, Central, and South America, I think we can learn a lot from some of the regulatory spectrum policies in Europe. There's many governments in Europe that realize that everybody wants in wireless. And it's not just the wireless operators. I mean, it's even the consumers. It's the application developers. It's the infrastructure. Everybody. And it's really good for society if you can bring out that new spectrum. So here you've seen many of the countries bring out large swaths of harmonized spectrum to really propel that market. Yeah. In the U.S., we've had some pretty good policies at times with the 700 coming out, the AWS spectrum, but there's much more in North America, and there's much more Central America, and much more in South America that can be done. Right. Well, in the U.S., public safety and spectrum is quite the controversial subject. Yeah. So, I think the key here is, in the United States, for instance, there's been quite a lot of diverse networks, I should say, operated by cities and different things. And I do think that if you look at the big picture, I think everyone needs to take a step back and look at what LTE can do for public safety, and in public safety, or firefighters, everybody, the whole agencies that are the first responders. And I do think there's a lot of agencies and the U.S. government looking at this very closely to figure out what the best strategy is going forward. But LTE just opens up tremendous opportunities. My observations on LTE are actually any of the mobile broadband technologies, HSPA plus and LTE, and we even talked about it, I think, before we went public here, is really to make sure you plan the entire system. It's not enough just to have great radio access network, but you need the backhaul to support that, because users don't want choke points, operators don't want choke points. We talked about it a bit. It's really not the radio, with LTE and even HSBA plus, it's really not the radio access that you worry about as much as some of the other backhaul issues, and really the entire system network-wide to provide the performance that you need.